Good afternoon, everybody. I've not heard from us for a little while. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is, I was going to share with you a recipe for a beetroot chutney. Spiced beetroot chutney made with light beetroots. To be perfectly honest, at the present moment, I've made the video and I don't think I'm going to try it, because when I tried this I wasn't particularly impressed with it, so I don't think it's going anywhere. One to watch out for. But what we're going to do today is a spiced rhubarb chutney. Now, there's a pound of rhubarb peeled. I've got to chop that. There's a medium to large red onion. That's got to be chopped finely. It says 1 clove of garlic. Well, all the fat ones have gone. These are what I have left from last year, so I've got 5 small ones and we'll see how that goes. 1 chilli, chopped, possibly into little thin rings so you can see it throughout. 140, 150 grams of brown sugar, whichever type you fancy. And, at the present moment, 75 mils of vinegar. Now, just to try it out, I'm using one of the spiced pickling vinegars to add something to it. So there's a little bit more going in because of that. Now, I'm going to get on with the chopping. Now, I'm not a chef, so don't criticise me chopping techniques. If you're doing a lot, you can use one of those handy kitchen gadgets that slice everything and chop and dice. But for 1 onion, it's hardly worth the effort. Incidentally, this recipe, there's 1 or 2 variants around. You can actually add some dried fruit if you want. It's not, that wouldn't be to my taste. I'm not very much for dried fruits in things like that, so I won't be adding it. The other thing you could add is a baking apple. It would add some nice sharpness to it. You can vary the vinegars to suit yourself. Some people might have a bottle of cider vinegar, a bottle of rice vinegar, or something else in. I've gone for a fairly robust pickling vinegar. So we'll see how that one goes. But try and cut these fairly small. Sometimes doesn't work out when you're trying to come apart on you, but that's the way it goes. Now, I will carry on chopping and getting things prepared. Like this chilli, I'm going to leave the seeds in because I like things hot. So that's it. Did I mention that there's a heaped teaspoon of paprika in this as well? I probably didn't mention it, but there's my paprika. Hide the brand, which comes from the local Indian supermarket in Cheetham Hill, as does a lot of our spice additives. So we go up there periodically and buy a massive bag for the price of a small tub of what you get in the supermarkets, normal supermarkets. So we stock up periodically. I do find that what it does do, though, it means sometimes you end up with some old spices, so we have to go through our spice cupboard periodically and throw a lot out because it's got old. But in the long run, it's still cheaper than buying the small tubs from the major supermarket chains. So that's a tip. If you've got, a good Indian supermarket near you, use it. You can even go, we live near Manchester, so we sometimes go into Manchester and go to the Thai or even Vietnamese. We do have some good Vietnamese supermarkets in Manchester. some good Vietnamese restaurants as well. Now, I'm chopping the rhubarb now. I think it's, to some extent it's up to you how big you chop it. I'm reluctant to chop it too large because, as you're fully aware, rhubarb can become a bit, become stringy, so I don't think you want lots of long strings throughout this. So I'm cutting it fairly short lengths anyway. I might cut some that's not been quite diced later, just same short length, but without the additional cuts to make it diced, so you've got some slightly more chunky bits that, but not long strands, because that's what I'm a little afraid of with this recipe. That if I cut it that long, I'd have strands of beetroot that length throughout, rhubarb throughout it. So I will carry on doing this, and rather than have you hanging around, I'll come back in a minute. Right, we're ready to get going now. Pan on a medium heat, and we'll start adding things. First things first, that vinegar. Then the onions. I'm going to let that simmer for a few minutes with the chilies. Those can go in. Season all if you want it hot, and myself and Pauline do tend to like things hot. And paprika, a good heat teaspoon of paprika in there. As I say, not for the faint-hearted. Give it a stir and get it simmering a little bit. Turn it up a bit for now. Smell the vinegar and the spice. I may add a bit more vinegar later, it depends. It doesn't look like there's an awful lot of fluid in there. Now, next one, the sugar. Get that in. I've still got the garlic to put in. Now, as we're all aware, I'm not careful, garlic burns, so I'm leaving it a little while for the garlic to go in. But that's all melted down. It looks like there probably is enough liquid in that. I'll just get this a better view for you now. There it is, just starting to get. Oh, so I want it to simmer a minute first before we put the rhubarb in. And obviously, as we're all aware, rhubarb has a lot of moisture in it, so it will generate a lot more moisture when the rhubarb goes in. So I'll leave that for a minute to get this little simmer. Right, there we are, simmering nicely. Had a little taste. It's sweet and it's a bit spicy. Could be a lot spicier if I wanted to. There's the garlic in my trusty pestle and mortar, so that can go in now. And to finish it off, the rhubarb. And this is now to simmer until it thickens. We'll come back in a minute when that's going. And you can see it's getting there now, it's starting to thicken up. Still needs a little bit more. I've had a few tastes, chef's prerogative, and I thought it might do with a little bit more rhubarb. So I put another 100 grams of rhubarb in. As you can see, the fresher stuff. And what I thought was also, putting that in later, it wouldn't be broke down as much, so you'll have some nice chunky bits of slightly fresher rhubarb in there, which will give you something to try. Yes. Sweet as you'd expect, but the rhubarb's offsetting that, and the chilli and the paprika, I've given it some heat, so I think that's done. So I'll just go and get the jars and we'll see about getting that done. Right, here we are. I don't know how much this is going to fill. These 2 jars used to be small honey jars from when I was making mead. Now, I put a little bit of water in them and microwave them, and believe me, there's nothing survives in that because it gets so hot. As you can see, I'm struggling to just hold the side of the jar, and the lids have just been in boiling water, so there. I'm saying, you can see the texture of this. I don't think I'm going to get 2 jars out of this. So obviously, you need to put that 1 jar, and I've got some left in here which I will have to put in this other jar, but that will be the one we'll use first. So at the present moment, there's 500 grams of rhubarb, 140, 150 grams of sugar, 75 ml of spiced vinegar I've used, and garlic, paprika, and a chilli. It wasn't the hottest chilli in the world, it was quite a big one, so as you're all aware, that means it's not the hottest chilli going, but there it is. Beetroot spiced. Oh, I keep saying beetroot. Rhubarb chutney. Close that. Seal it up. And there it is. You can see the little red bits of the chilli in there. We'll label it up and put it away. This one, this one's going to be for nearly immediate use, because I don't want to leave that much airspace on the top. But it gives you an idea of the quantities you get out of that recipe. So, that's that. It's up to you to try it. It's not a bad chutney. Going back over things, the beetroot chutney that I tried, which I didn't do for you because I wasn't particularly happy with it, so I'm not going to show you that other than say it was a bit of a failure. The lime pickle I did a while back, that was very good. All that wanted was a little extra chilli in it, and that would have been superb. Well, it is superb, it'll be even better. It'd be magnificent with a little bit more chilli in it. On a pompadon with some onion chutney mixed in with it. Right, hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's some interest to you. Thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed, and see you all soon.